Yo, welcome back. If somehow you've managed to find one of the other videos, I guess welcome back. Otherwise, congratulations for finding this one. This is The Road to Scratch. I am documenting my journey to becoming a scratch golfer, and this is going to be range session number 2. We're about 30 degrees warmer than the last range session. If you didn't see that range session, it was just me out there because it was 26 degrees and about to snow. We are in the mid-50s today. I got out here after work, actually snuck out a little early, got done with work a little early today, so figured I'd take advantage. So I am out here at the range again, and I'm going to be working on a lot of stuff today. It was actually great to see my swing in those videos from the first range session. I honestly hadn't seen myself hit a golf ball live in a long time on a video. So to be able to see that, it was encouraging. Some of the things I thought I was doing, I'm actually working on, I'm actually doing. And the stuff that I had a feeling I was struggling with, or some of my flaws, were definitely there. The biggest thing for me on this session is going to be working on my tempo. And when I say tempo, that is the transition from my backswing to my downswing through impact. And for me, it's always tended to be a rush where I'm not quite finishing my backswing when my lower body goes ahead and engages and heads down towards the ball, or vice versa. I'm out of sequence more than anything. And that's what I'm going to work on today. Is I'm working towards getting comfortable to actually pausing in the backswing, at least for drills and stuff. There's plenty of guys out there, actually a couple guys out there in particular, that actually pause while hitting a golf ball on YouTube. I think Ben Kruper is one of them. He's got a phenomenal swing. That is something I'm trying to work on, is actually getting to the point where I can pause and hit down through the ball and engage everything in sequence. I know that's something that's going to help me get a lot more consistent and a lot better. And it's going to help me on my journey to becoming a scratch golfer. So that's one of the main things I'm going to be doing. There are a few more people out here today, and I'm going to go ahead and find a spot out here, get a bunch of balls, and then I'm just going to work through my sequences from wedge all the way up to driver. It looks like they just aerated the actual range itself, so I don't even know if I'm going to be allowed to stick some tees in the ground. So we'll see how the driver goes, if I get some swings in or not. But we're going to work on transitions. And probably, depending on how it goes, I'll have some commentary voiceover in the editing portion, so I can talk about what I'm trying to do, what I'm looking for, what you guys can look at, and let's see what we can get done.
Okay, let's get right into it. So I start with a little warm-up, stretch, get everything loose, and then I usually hit between 50 to 80 yard little pitch shots, usually between a 60-degree, 56-degree wedge, as I'm doing here. That green flag you see directly in front of me is about 65 yards from the time I was hitting these. And again, I'm just trying to work on tempo, which is really, for me, that slight pause at the top to make sure that I'm ready to initiate my downswing. I'm not getting ahead and getting out of sequence between upper body, lower body. I want everyone to understand too, I'm not a swing instructor. This is for me. I have played golf for a while, but getting back into it, trying to sync everything up, and really working towards getting more consistency is the true definition of becoming a scratch golfer and getting there. And one thing in particular that I've watched from these first videos and knowing my swing is, especially those wedges, is I tend to get very steep on the downswing. And so that's something I'm trying to work on even with these pitch shots. All right, so now I'm going to be working into full swing with the sand wedge. This is my 56 degree. Hitting to a flag you can't see behind me. It's the red flag, if you can see off in the distance as I bend over to get to the next ball. And again, two things I wanted to work on in this session. First one was tempo. I'm trying to get to the place where I'm not, as you can probably see, I'm rushing a little bit between my backswing and my downswing, which doesn't always allow me to finish my backswing. Like right there, I'd like to get a little bit deeper into that backswing. I'm hitting about 100 to 115 yards, somewhere in there with my sand wedge. These are about 3/4 sand wedges, but with my backswing and watching what I'm doing, I'm not getting as deep as I think I am, and that can create, I'm guessing a little bit of what's going on here too, is with the steep action on the downswing. I get a little bit steep, and that ball rides up the face on these wedges especially, and then gives me a much higher ball flight, which can get up in the wind, get really spinny. I lose control. And with all that being said, I lose strokes on the golf course because I'm not as consistent or accurate as I want to be. I am thinking about these things as I'm swinging on my range sessions, especially with the wedges. But, it's one thing to say to do it. It's another thing to actually do it. So for me, moving forward, my two biggest swing components are going to be my tempo, which is that pause from the top. And I really want to get to the point where I can actually freeze at the top and then initiate the downswing, at least in practice, so I can get a good tempo and rehearse it and get comfortable with it. And then really want to stay, from my pitching to my full swing, I want to stay shallow so I can drive down that ball flight a little bit. I tend to hit it a little bit too high and spinny, and I want to get more control over that. All right, moving on to the 9-iron. We're going to go ahead and make some nice full swings. As you can see me rehearsing this now. Backswing, trying to stay shallow, full, getting all the way into the turn. I like where the position of the wrist is. The warm-up looks great. That's not the case for the full swing, as we'll see here in a second. All right, so as you can see there, I did not get into that backswing in the correct position. It was a little shallow. It was left as well. It was not as shallow. It was steeper. I did not finish the backswing from my rehearsal, which actually gets me into a steeper delivery through impact, which we're trying to avoid. So again, I need to get deeper into that backswing in order to deliver that club
Left again.
more shallow. When I get steep like that with the short irons, it's a pull or it's a lot of draw on the ball. Again, I lose control of it. Just like the wedges, it gets really spinny, and it's not delivered at the target consistently. I mean, everybody gets lucky once in a while, right? Again, holding on to that a little bit. That was actually probably pushed a bit, I'm going to guess. The frustration mounts here. So, what I'm trying to do, as I just said there, is I'm trying to pause throughout the swing. I'm trying to actually get in a position here where I can pause during the downswing. That was not a pause. It was definitely a little bit of erratic transition and not what I'm trying to do. So, again, I'm working through. That's amazing. I hit 10 feet in the pin with that swing. So, again, everybody gets lucky once in a while, right? Sometimes you got to be luckier than better in golf. But that does not deliver consistency, and that is not how we're going to get to becoming a scratch golfer. Left again. And just keep in mind, too, that
was heavy.
Sounds like a little bit chunky, too. I'm going to be doing shot tracer sooner than later, so whoever's watching this, if it's even just one person, you can see, and for myself, too, seeing the direction of the ball flight. That and going to lit range so we can see ball flight, because I know this is pretty hard to pick up on a full swing at full speed. Okay, one more 9-iron. I'm looking for a pause. I didn't get it. Again, I want that transition to be more seamless than just that jerky up and down motion. All right, moving on to the 6-iron. Still trying to accomplish the same goal here. Working through that motion. Get into a finished backswing, pause, and then rotate around my body through impact. Okay. Not a full backswing. Again, that pause is going to be so crucial to me developing a more consistent swing for sure.
Left. Kind of push fade. Jesus. Pull hook.
All right, roll a couple more. Still with the 6-iron. That definitely was pulled. Again, really steep angle of attack, and you can see I was actually fighting the hands from rolling over too through impact. I kind of tried to hold on, but it was too late. And more than anything, I'm pretty confident now watching these swings that it's more of a result of not getting into that swing, the backswing itself, a little bit better, but not great. All right, so here at impact, not awful, but the result of that more steep angle of attack is more of an extension with the right arm right at impact. This I would like to see a little more bent, meaning this is more delivered shallowing from the inside and attacking a little more inside to out, more like my pitch shots, because I feel like I do a really good job. One of the things I do well is chipping and pitching with the extension, left arm's extended, right arm's a little more bent, crisp contact, and that's because of that delivery through impact. I'd like to get to that position with the full swing, and again, this is a little more steep and a little more kind of on, like, almost on top of the ball than I'd like to be. When I say on top, I mean with the arms. Obviously, my sternum needs to be ahead of the ball. Everything else needs to be on top of the ball. So overall, it's not horrible, but just seeing this is showing me how steep I really still am. Okay, one of the drills I actually like to do that helps me actually get back into that more shallow plane, although that first swing wasn't a great example of that, is to start hitting punches, knockdowns, stingers, whatever you want to call them. I generally try to do those with a mid-iron and then work my way up to the long irons and just see if I can get really crisp contact. What I've noticed doing this drill is two things. One, it really helps me fix that steep angle of attack, but it also emphasizes that steep angle of attack. And these first few swings definitely show that I actually tend to get really steep trying to hit these flighted down, knockdown stingers. And I'm not sure why that is, but it is. If I do this drill correctly, which really forces me to finish lower and finish more around my body, not up and down my body, then the results are actually really good. I'm getting to the point where I almost have started to hit a real stinger. These have not been it yet, but they're getting closer. Again, this is a 6-iron, but I'm trying to hit it, flight it down. You can see the trajectory is right about in here. And at some point, sooner than later, I will have shot tracer for some of these shots, especially going to the course. And also would like to get to a lit range at some point so you guys can, or me at least, I'm talking to myself, can get some views on some actual ball flights here, because it is hard to find them. All right, switching to the 4-iron, I tried to hit a few 4-iron stingers. Same drill, trying to accomplish the same thing. You see me rehearsing this here, is more around my body, more shallow angle of attack through impact, which when I do it right, it definitely is the result that I want. Certainly consistent, right on the middle of the face. I love the ball flight, so just got to keep working on that. And again, yes, I need to kind of get deeper in the backswing even with these, but at the same time, it's not a full swing. Although at the very end of this 4-iron session here, I did go to a couple full swings. So we'll run a couple more here. Again, trying to deliver the club here. And that ball is kind of right out in here. I'm still aiming at that yellow flag, trying to flight those over that yellow flag. Let's see if we can stop one right here. I think this is the full swing. Let's go ahead and roll this. Nope, that's still flighted. Okay, so this should be, I think I took one full swing with the 4-iron, just a normal swing. Because once I do the drill enough times and get the result, then I feel like, okay, I'm actually rehearsing the right stuff. Let's go into that swing. There's that full swing. Still not the full swing I want, but close enough. All right, like I said at the beginning of the video, this has all been seeded. They didn't want anybody on the actual grass. From here on out until spring, we're on the mats to hit anyway. But for driver and teed shots, we are allowed to be out here except for today. So I had to try and make do with teeing up in here. I hate these tees. They're super, super high. And especially with what I'm looking to do is sliding this down a little bit. I just broke some tees off and hit them. And I tried to get a better angle here so we could actually see the ball flight a little bit longer, but I'm realizing now that that still is not going to work. I'm definitely going to need to be at a lit range for this, or get some shot tracer. But I want to see the actual ball flight too. So the videos will show that to anybody that's watching them as well. Let's go to the next shot. I mean, it's all the same swing, everything posture, everything's the same goal here, which is trying to deliver a shallow angle of attack. Let's see if I can stop it right here. Go back. These weren't horrible, but they were a little bit fadey, kind of spinny, still steep. So that's not horrible. I'm pretty much right at impact. I actually got lucky on that freeze. The club head's just about to hit the ball. Delivery-wise, it's not horrible, but I can tell that came in a little steep. And again, that's going to get that driver, even that driver shot's going to make it more spinny up in the air. A lot of times I'll have just a slight cut spin on it. It'll run out to the right, actually away from my target. So here's the last driver. And that ball should be out in here somewhere after impact. I mean, I can feel it in the practice swing, but again, applying that to a golf ball, yeah, it was right in there. I think it actually leaked a little bit this way. So, work in progress. Okay, like I said in range session 1, I like to finish every session going back to some wedges and kind of finish with strong, crisp contact. Again, I'm trying to deliver that club where I want it more shallow, especially with these wedges. So at the end of the practice session, it's really kind of grinding into that grooved feeling of through impact, it's here, it's not straight down on top of the ball. Easier said than done. This was almost there. It actually flighted decently for me, but I caught it about 2 grooves up. Again, it's just going to be a struggle until it's not anymore. I mean, that's just how the golf swing goes. But this is what I'm working on for consistency. And I know once I get this, actually the tempo and the delivery position down, I'm going to start shaving a lot more strokes off my game and get more consistent, kind of narrow the curves between where I'm shooting. So I'm not going out and shooting 74, 86 in 2 straight rounds. I'm going to be, 78, 76, and then kind of working my way down from there. So again, 56 degree, hitting it out here to this pin, I believe about 105. Just trying to flight those things into the green. And that's how I finish or try to finish every range session. Really just kind of working on delivering that club through impact and flighting that ball down. If I can flight the wedges down, I can deliver the club where I want it with all the other swings as well. Okay, so I finished here. It started getting a little bit more windy. So this is a great time for me to really practice, really trying to deliver that club with a flighted ball flight. I have to picture that ball coming out lower with less spin to keep it under the wind. So when it gets windier, right now for me mentally, it gets easier to actually make that move through impact. I'm not saying I'm there yet, but it's definitely going to help. So when it gets windy, I go back to these either gap wedges or sand wedges, and I try and flight a ball into an area. Like this red pin is my target. This is where I'm trying to land the ball on that green. I believe it was about 120. So I'm just trying to pick a club that's going to get me there with a flighted ball flight. I think this was my gap wedge here. It looks like it is. And again, just trying to stay shallow and deliver it through impact around my body more than up and down. That's it. All right, so that's that range session. Hopefully, well, if you got to the end of this video, congratulations. Thank you very much. If you did, you might as well hit subscribe. Keep watching me figure this thing out. It's gonna be a long grind. Hashtag golf grind for sure, but it's getting there. I'm not disappointed. I do really enjoy being able to see this now. I'm wish I didn't wait 100 years to do this, but it's going to help me really improve much more rapidly for sure, but more consistency is going to show up, I think, even quicker than I haven't expected. So,
all right, that was a decent range session. I was actually, I would say, optimistic about some of the stuff I was accomplishing, including that transition, that pause, the top, the tempo, getting in transition on the downswing, get everything kind of sequencing up. I did actually struggle with some swings. I certainly was rushing a few, which is really interesting, especially when I'm trying to hit that stinger or knockdown kind of 3/4 low ball flight type of shot. I really want to engage my lower body before I'm finished with my backswing. And the biggest thing for me to work on with that shot is, again, like every other shot, is to make sure that I'm finishing my backswing wherever that's going to be. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch this stuff too. But overall, encouraged by some of the progress I'm making, and we're going to keep going. If you're watching, and I'm not just talking to myself, thank you. I appreciate a thumbs up. If you like the video, hit me and smash that subscribe button too, and follow along on this journey. It's going to be fun. All right. I guess I'm leaving.